I am always struck by the fact that the United States, which has had so many gifted political leaders, that in the days before the war, beginning in 1860 and 61, that we had for a period of 30 years in the Congress the most extraordinarily gifted figures that we've had in our history. Calhoun, Clay, Douglas, Benton, and all the rest. And yet they dealt in their whole life, and many of them stayed in the Congress for a generation, with only 3 or 4 problems. Tariffs, states' rights and the new states coming in, slavery, currency, and 2 or 3 others. And yet this extraordinarily gifted group of men failed. And as a result, of course, we had this long and bloody war. Now, perhaps our political leaders may not be so gifted. And yet they deal with questions which are far more complex than the questions which came across the desks of our people a century ago. We deal with questions of monetary and fiscal policy. We deal with questions which are esoteric, balance of payments, nuclear tests, the mix of our strategic weapons. We have obligations stretching all around the globe, and yet this country must make not only our society work, but all those societies which are dependent upon us. This is an extraordinary obligation which presses upon those who hold positions of responsibility in the national government today. And where these rather towering figures of a century ago failed in dealing with the relatively few and, in a way, obvious questions with which they had to deal, now the questions which come across our desk, and therefore really in a sense the desk of every citizen, every active voter, dwarf in complexity and in significance and in importance all that went then. So that's why I urge those of you who have touched the government in one department or another to think of coming back.